Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We're at that point of the year, but don't fear. Lawson is here. I have a bunch of bets in my bag ready to slang. And I just want to say about last week, I was clear last week. My week was about the Browns. Unfortunately, I took the push. Luckily, some people on Patreon got it at -2.5. Let's get this money. I'm looking forward to it and enjoy your Christmas. First game, Thursday night football. We got the New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Rams. Saints +4.5. I got the Saints to cover, Rams to win. I know I'm against the grain here. I know most of the money will be on the Rams, and I understand why. I would be betting this, but the Saints were added to my no bet list really early in the year, and I'm going to stick with that. The problem when you look at this game for the Saints is this team is deteriorated. And you remember when the Saints came to prominence and dominance, they were good on the O-line, they were good on the D-line. The interior of their defensive line is weak as fuck. And then when Cam Jordan's your best pass rusher at 37 or 38, I just don't think that's enough to push the Rams button. I do think the Rams win the game. Saints do just enough to keep it close. And like I said, I was tempted to do this. I do think the market overvalues the Rams, but I'm going to just stay away from this one. Saints to cover, Rams to win, and that's why we've been so good on Thursday night this year. We go against the grain. Next game, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Minshew at the Atlanta Falcons. Colts +1.5. Money. Colts to win in the cover, make it a damn money pick. Last week we had the Panthers, and it's not because the Panthers are getting better or the new coach bounce was successful. This is a Falcons team that's in the tailspin, and I think this is the collision course that they're on. This is the week where the plane just crashes into the ground and burns up, so to speak. And you look at this Colts game, we had them last week against the Steelers. We live bet them against the Steelers. And I'm looking forward to what Minshew can bring. And I'm seeing this Falcons defense that has overachieved this whole year, but they're tired, they're worn. And when you have Desmond Ridder as your quarterback, if you put in Heineke, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. And I ask you this, who would you rather ride with? Heineke or Desmond Ridder or the coach of the year, Shane Steichen? I'm going Shane Steichen, make it a money pick, bet this game. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers +2. Steelers to win in the cover. And I know a lot of people will be off the Steelers. Luckily, we don't have that emotional connection. We rode them around the midseason mark, then got off, which is really, really good on our part. But I think the Steelers grind out this game. The reason why I'm not betting it, even though the fundamentals add up to slam the Steelers, is because Mitch Trubisky's just so damn bad at quarterback. I just don't think we can put money on them with Mitch Trubisky under the helm. And I don't think Mason Rudolph improves our chances. Like, if we see Pickett coming back Thursday or Friday, I think we have to consider it. And I do think this Browning thing, credit to him what he did to the Bengals, did to my Vikings in the second half, but I do think this is coming to an end. Jamar Chase is probably going to miss this damn game. I do think the Steelers step up, and you have to remember, Heinz Field is underrated. It's underrated to play in. It's hard to kick in. I got the Steelers to win in the cover. I just don't think we can bet it with Mitch. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Chargers. Bills -11.5. I got the Chargers to cover, new coach bounce. Bills to win, not a lot of science. Obviously, this could turn into a bloodbath. I mean, we know that's highly likely. We know when you got Easton Stick or whatever the fuck his name is, it's not going to go well. Buffalo does seem to be catching steam at the right time. Listen, I would rather bet the Bills point total over than bet this spread. I just think 11.5 is too much. And honestly, like, if there's an NFL game to sit out, I watch every one. But if there was, it would be this game. And plus, it's on Peacock, so get your streaming fingers ready. I just hate the Peacock, man. I'm going Chargers to cover, Bills to win. No science. Just don't touch this, D-Jones. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. Browns plus 2.5. This is probably the hardest pick I've had to do this year. And after sweating through that Browns game last week, they've taken at least 5 to 7 years off my life. And I know everyone's going to say, Lawson, stop complaining. You've been making money on the Browns all year. But it's absolutely sickening how many critical errors they make. Stroud will be back this week, and I think the Texans win in the cover. I've been thinking about this game all morning, and I still love the Browns roster. I love how their defense is playing, but I do feel Flacco. I just don't think he has the body for this anymore. If you saw those 2 damn near pick sixes he threw, you would be off the Browns as well. And also, when you look at this Browns defense, there's just a different type of defense on the road. I'm worried about the Texans not having Tank Dell, but if CJ Stroud's in there, I think this Texans team has enough will and gumption to get over the line. Texans winning the cover. I'm not betting this one. I was so tempted to go with the Browns again, but I just can't go there anymore, boys. I'm just done. Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Zona at the Chicago Bears. Zona plus 4.5. Pew, pew, pew. Money, money, money. Pew, pew, pew. Money, money, money. I absolutely love the Cardinals to cover this game, making a money pick. Wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I was surprised about so much public action on the Bears last week. Like, listen, the Bears defense is legit. They're playing great football, and let's not take anything away from them. Like, besides the interceptions, they absolutely stopped the Browns' run game, although we did see, like, Bitonio go out in the first quarter, and everything bad that could happen to the Browns did, and the Bears still didn't win the game. And I do think this Bears team is overvalued, and I think this is a great spot for the Cardinals. I looked at the weather. It's going to be like 47, only 10, 15 mile per hour wind. I think this is a way for Kyler Murray to win this game. And if you look at Fields, man, he was terrible against the Browns. And this Browns defense has made other quarterbacks look bad. But I just think you need to go watch that film and understand that Justin Fields is playing with low confidence. Even the scrambles aren't coming off anymore. And either way, if the Bears are going to win this, they're going to grind this out by 3 points. I think Zona has something to say about it. Give me the Cardinals plus 4.5 money pick. And I also think the Cardinals win the fucking game. Next game. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Best gambling show on the internet. Next game. We got the Seattle Seahawks at the Tennessee Titans. Titans plus 2.5. Titans to win in the cover. Listen, man. Titans really should have took the Texans out of that game last week. It looks like we're going to get Tannehill. There is not a lot of science here. The biggest weakness of the Seattle Seahawks is their secondary, and we know the Titans aren't a team to exploit that, but I do like the Titans in this spot at home. Seattle going west to east on a short week. I really like this spot for the Titans. I'm not betting it. I wouldn't suggest anyone bet it. And also, can we just say last night, like, credit to Drew Lock, and we think Geno will be back this game, but can we just be honest about it and say that maybe the Eagles lost that game more than the Hawks won it? Titans winning the cover, not betting it. Next game, we got the Jacksonville Jags at the Tampa Bay Bucs. Bucs minus 1.5. Money, money, money. Borderline. Bucs winning the cover. Listen, I've been telling you guys all year. I do my research on injuries, and I've been telling you, every time a quarterback gets a concussion, it seems like it's a 2-week wait. and Lawrence is placed in concussion protocol. Now, sometimes the NFL bends the rules for quarterbacks, but for position players, it's been rather clear. You're in concussion protocol, you're going to sit out that next game, and you're going to come out the week after that. And I think that's what propels the Bucs to victory here. Now, am I saying this Bucs offense is moving and grooving because they beat out the Packers defense that is poorly coached? No, but I do think the Bucs can grind out this game, and at a certain point, someone needs to take control of this NFC South. And if there's any of these teams that can rise up to the top, I do think it's the Bucs. And one thing we know about Baker Mayfield, listen, if he's playing with full confidence and full gusto, I do like our chances with them. And this Jags defense, they lose interest damn near every game. They just can't put together a full 4 quarters, and they do play down the opposition like they did against Browning on Monday night a few weeks back. And if Lawrence isn't there, how the fuck are the Jags going to move the ball? Give me the Bucs -1.5, make it a money pick. Next game, we got the Washington no-names at the New York Jets. Jets -3. Listen, when Jacoby came in for Sam Howell, we saw a different Commanders team, but it looks like Sam Howell is going to start, and that's a big issue. And we're looking like Aaron Rodgers is going to play, man. That's my bet. I'm betting Aaron Rodgers plays. We're just waiting on him to be medically cleared. And honestly, if I was the Jets, I would not play Aaron Rodgers. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't play the GOAT Rodgers. But he's the one calling the shots in that organization. He's going to play, and he's going to do better than Trevor Siemian and Zach Wilson. And we have to remember, listen, I was on Miami last week with the money pick. I know everyone was against me. But listen, this Jets defense is an absolute juggernaut. If you get Rodgers in there, they'll have at least 3 good drives, and I think that's enough to win the game. And I don't think people understand how poor Sam Howell's been. And this Commanders defense is transitioning to be one of the worst defenses in the league. Give me the Jets to win in the cover if Rodgers plays. If it doesn't play, if he doesn't play, who the fuck cares? Next game, we got the Detroit Lions at my Minnesota Vikings. Lions -3. Money. Eating some crow here. Back to the Lions, making a damn money pick. And I wasn't exaggerating when I said Dan Campbell the last 2 years is the reason why I was able to buy a car. It's solely because of him. And I'm going Lions to win in the cover. And I think my Vikings, I think that was the knockout blow to the Vikings season last week. I'm not saying they can't crawl into the playoffs, but I really felt like that was a devastating victory psychologically and physically. And if you give me Nick Mullins again, Nick Mullins is one of those guys, he just gets worse every single start he makes, and he obviously can't take care of the ball. And honestly, I would not be surprised if O'Connell goes back to Jaron Hall. As a Vikings fan, I want to see Jaron Hall. I also like the under 47 in this. You do get worried, though, because this Lions defense is bad. We got Goff in the dome. It looks like Goff found his mojo again. I think the Lions should score more points. Listen, I do get worried about the Brian Flores zone blitzes with Goff or Brian Flores dropping 8 and clogging up the middle of the field. Don't get me wrong. I worry about it. But I just think the Lions will be able to run the ball against the Vikings, and I think that's a big factor in getting Goff going. Lions -3, make it a damn money pick against my Minnesota Vikings. Next game, Sunday night. We got the New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos. Pats +6.5. I like the Patriots to cover, Broncos to win. And one thing we've said about the Broncos the whole year, yes, they've gotten lucky on turnovers. Has their defense played a factor in creating them? Yes, but they have gotten a little bit of luck. But also, they're a team that just needs to grind you out. And we have to understand this isn't fucking college football. 6.5 is a lot to grind out. When you grind out games, it's normally between the 1 to 3.5 point range. And I think the Pats are value here. I'm not betting anyone. Like, I'm not going to bet Bailey Zappi when I have other meat on my Christmas platter. But I'm going Pats to cover, Broncos to win. I do wonder how the Broncos respond because, listen, man, that was an absolute ass-kicking Dan Campbell and his boys put on them. I want to see if there's any gumption left in that locker room. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Carolina Panthers. Panthers +5. Money, money, money. I'm doing it again. Don't put a lot on this, but I love the Panthers +5 to cover. It's a borderline money pick. It's not a big bet. It's just us playing the fundamentals. When we played the fundamentals against Atlanta last week, and I know this Panthers offense is absolutely putrid, but we did just see Baker Mayfield look like Joe Montana in Lambeau Field. And one thing we've learned about Jordan Love this year is he's just not good on the road. And I think we all learned that in the Giants game. And I also do feel like this Packers team is reeling. Like, I think they can win the game by a field goal. But I really like the Panthers' chances here. And we have to understand, man, there's guys on the Panthers playing for jobs. And we did see that new coach bounce a little bit last week. I like the Panthers to cover, and I like the Packers to win. There isn't a lot of science. We're just playing the fundamentals like we did last week with the Panthers-Falcons game. Next game! Game of the week. Well, not game of the week, but for me it is. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the Miami Dolphins. Fins -1.5. Money, money, money. Money. Digging this trench. I'm burrowing down like a hamster right now, ready to splash. Listen, this isn't the bet of the week. This isn't the one I want you putting your full money on, your full life on. But I think the Fins win this game. This isn't like an overreaction to the Bills whooping the Cowboys' ass last week. It isn't. I wish we all knew there was a flu strand, a stomach bug going through the Cowboys' locker room. That's just something we can't control. But I feel like this is about the Cowboys linebacking or lack of linebackers against a Miami team that has a schematic genius calling plays. And we pretty much bet the Dolphins every week. Have I gotten laughed at along the way? Yeah, a la Eagles game. But they've been lucrative for us, and I have to stick with this train. And we're riding this caravan wherever the fuck it goes. And I'm looking at a Cowboys team that, if you can't pound the Buffalo Bills, are you going to be able to run it against Christian Wilkins and Zeiler? I think the Miami Dolphins is slowly getting better on defense. And then I'm looking at a matchup like CeeDee Lamb. If you're Vic Fangio, you have to have Jalen Ramsey following him everywhere he goes. And Jalen Ramsey is very good in the slot. We know CeeDee Lamb does a lot of damage there. I think the Dolphins have some matchups they can exploit. And Zach Martin hurt. It seems like every linebacker on the Cowboys roster is hurt, and they're just hurling safeties up to take the spot. And I do think Miami can run it here. And I know Miami has struggled with physical defenses this year. We've seen it with the Eagles. We've seen it in other games. But I do feel like the schematics, the McDaniel versus McCarthy matchup, I think this is where it works in our favor. And I absolutely love the Fins -1.5. It is a ballsy bet, but it was a ballsy bet the last 13 weeks with the Dolphins. They have their dollars, but I'm not backing off. Fins winning the cover, making a damn money pick. We got the Christmas games. Merry Christmas to everyone. We got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Raiders +10. I like the Raiders to cover, Chiefs to win. When Rashid Rice and Justin Watson are your two best receivers, I like the Raiders' defensive matchups, man. And I've been trying to say all year, and it got lost in the McDaniels madness and shuffle, that this is the best Raiders defense we've seen in 5, 6, 7 years. I know it's not saying an awful lot, but I think it's enough to keep this game close. And we know that this Raiders team is going to play with heart. And that's all you want in these late season games. And the teams that do that tend to cover the spreads. And we see a lot of crazy results. And I'm looking at a Chiefs team that I felt like the Pats deserved to cover last week. They had no business not covering. And I'm looking at a Chiefs team that just doesn't have the identity. Their identity is pretty much Pat Mahomes pull rabbits out of the hat. And we're seeing a lot less of Travis Kelce. And I feel like that's the only place where the Raiders can get burned. Give me the Raiders to cover. Like, I think the Chiefs win the game, but I do kind of feel like the Chiefs could be out upset alert. I'm not trying to crazy talk anyone. Next game, we got the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Giants plus 11.5. Eagles to win in the cover. I don't know what to do with the Eagles anymore, guys. I don't. I don't. After that display we saw in Seattle, like, I know Seattle is a lot better team than the Giants. And this Giants offensive line can't block anyone. Like, I don't know if the veto was pulled due to performance or if he got hurt or a combination of both. But there's not much you can do behind this Giants offensive line. I do like the roll of the dice to bring Matt Patricia in to call the plays and have more say-so. I'm not a Matt Patricia guy, but I do think the Eagles respond. You never like when the Eagles are laying a lot of points, but I think they cover this game. And I think the Giants' swan song of the season was last week's beatdown against the Saints. Next game! This is the game of the week. We got the Baltimore Ravens at the San Francisco 49ers. San Fran minus 5.5. I'll keep this quick. And I like the Ravens matchups in this game. Like, I really do like their matchups. But I'm going San Fran to win in the cover. And we know when San Francisco's on their game, they can blow anyone out. And the main thing is we need to see Lamar Jackson for the Ravens to even have a shot to win this. We need to see Lamar Jackson magic, and I just don't know if that's happening. I like what Steve Wilkes has done with this defense, and you have to look at it from this perspective. Like, this Ravens defense is top 5 in the NFL. It surprised me. I didn't think it would be that way. But ask yourself, does it make a damn bit of difference when you look at the 49ers machine-like machine? It's a fucking machine, man. And when we get to betting Shanahan, I'm on Team Shanahan, guys. I'm always on Shanahan, and I think they move the ball more consistently. And I do worry about this Ravens offense. I do think this Ravens offensive line isn't as great as people say, and it will get exposed against the 49ers front that's absolutely prominent and dominant. Give me San Fran minus 5.5. I don't want to bet this out of respect for the Ravens, out of respect for Lamar Jackson, but I just feel like the 49ers, if they play their B+, A- game, I feel like they're 10 points better than everyone else in the league. Merry Christmas. Like, thank you for all the support this year. Like, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great time with your family. I hope you have a great New Year's. Happy holidays. And listen, man, I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you for sharing these videos. Thank you for hitting the like button. Like, honestly, man, it means a lot to me. And like I said, like on the live stream the other day, Sundays, I just get down and pray because you see all the big media companies and betting, and you see their advertisement, you see everything, yet you guys still come back and support me. And honestly, is a duty and a privilege to get this money with you. Hope everyone has a great holiday season, man. And stop betting college bowl games, man.